Good morning. I am the Reverend Denise Gouch. My pronouns are she, her, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to worship with the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. Our projectionist, our projectionist this morning is Debrina Dills. As Unitarian Universalists, our spiritual paths vary, but in this congregation, we have made a covenant together. We affirm our interdependence, celebrate our differences, and work for justice. We are a welcoming congregation, and we deepen our relationships as we serve our congregation's mission to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values in the broader world, guided by reason and compassion. I'd like to extend a special welcome to visitors worshiping with us this morning. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you may find it here. If you have questions about our congregation, please be in touch with me. You can find my email address in the staff directory under Contact Us on our website. I look forward to hearing from you. If you are with us for the live broadcast of this service on Zoom, you may wish to experiment with the view settings at the upper right corner of your screen. And won't you please say hello in the chat? We love knowing who's here. No matter what platform you're using to join us for worship, you can find helpful information like ways to give, faith development resources for all ages, and more in the worship portal on our website, firstuunash.org. We are so glad you're joining us for worship.
My name is Jay Tiefenbrunn. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm honored to serve as your Director of Music Ministries. Our opening song this morning was written by Norbert Čapek, the founder of the Unitarian Church in the Czech Republic, who created the ritual that became our flower communion. Because this song is a little less familiar, you'll see the music and lyrics on your screen as I lead the singing. You can follow along the contour of the line as most sight reading is guessing. Please join me in Mother Spirit, Father Spirit by Norbert Čapek.
Good morning. I'm Gail Spar. My pronouns are she, her. I'm serving today as worship associate. The words for the call to worship were written by Jack Mendelson. Here in this sanctuary of ancient dreams and wisdom and beauty, we come to grow, to be healed, to stretch mind and heart, to be challenged, renewed, to be helped in our own continuing struggles for meaning and for love, to help build a world with more justice and mercy in it, to be counted among the hopers and doers. In the face of cynicism, darkness, brutality around us and within, we seek to align ourselves with a living community that would affirm rather than despair, that would think and act rather than simply adjust and succumb. Here we invite the spirit of our own humanity and the healing powers under, around, through, and beyond it to give us the nerve and grace, the toughness and sensitivity to search out the truth that frees and the life that maketh all things new. The words for the chalice lighting were written by Sean Parker Dennison. We light our chalice not to defeat the darkness, but because for a time we need the gifts of flame, warmth, and light to guide and help us in our endeavors. And when the time comes, we will embrace again the gentle dark, which allows us rest.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Diane Dowgiert, Developmental Lead Minister here at the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Nashville. My pronouns are she, her. Our story this morning is titled A Different Kind of Superhero. It was a hot and muggy morning. Christopher was not sure he really wanted to be out riding in a competition. His thoroughbred horse, Eastern Express, seemed a bit off. Christopher was the actor who played Superman in the movies, and in real life, he fit the part. Handsome, strong, always striving toward a goal, chasing his best time, learning a new skill. Then, in an instant, everything changed. Eastern Express balked at a jump, sending Christopher crashing to the ground. When he woke up in the hospital, he couldn't move his hands or feet. He couldn't even breathe without the help of a machine. Although doctors could repair his neck, they could not fix the injury to his spinal cord. Now, Christopher's brain was unable to communicate with most of his body. Even though he still had all his strength, intelligence, and willpower, there was simply no way for him to move any part of his body below his head. Of course, Christopher Reeve had never actually been able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, but he had been a tremendous athlete. He had always liked a goal, a challenge, something to work for. Before his accident, Christopher's challenges involved acting, directing, and sports. Now his challenges were different. Now it took all his strength and determination to sit up in a wheelchair and steer it by puffing on a straw. His heart ached with all he had lost, but he realized that he still had a lot: the love of his family and money and fame from his career. Christopher decided to use everything he still had to work for a new goal. Christopher realized that even though he could no longer use his arms and legs, he had a power that many people do not. He was famous. People thought of him as Superman. Now he really could be a hero, not by flying through the air to rescue people, but by speaking up. Because he was famous, people would pay attention. They would listen and they would want to help. It wasn't easy. Christopher didn't want to be embarrassed if he could not use his mouth to speak well. But he knew this was a special chance to use the power he had and make the world a better place. So Christopher started speaking. He asked Congress to support stem cell research that might lead to a cure for spinal cord injuries. He asked groups of people to get involved and donate money. He talked with others who had experienced injuries like his. He even spoke on television to millions of people during the Academy Awards. A writer for Reader's Digest magazine interviewed Christopher Reeve near the end of his life in 2004 and asked him why he had joined a Unitarian Universalist church. He answered, "It gives me a moral compass. I often refer to Abe Lincoln, who said, 'When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. And that is my religion.'" He went on to say, "I think we all have a voice inside us that will guide us. It may be God, I don't know. But I think that if we shut out all the noise and clutter from our lives and listen to that voice, it will tell us the right thing to do." Christopher Reeve showed what a real life hero is. A person who listens to the voice inside and then acts when that voice tells them the right thing to do. And here ends our story.
Thank you, Reverend Diane, for that story. You all may know that we share every Sunday's collection with an organization whose work outside our walls aligns with our values. Our Share the Plate partner for the month of May is the Unitarian Universalist Mental Health Network, whose work promotes the inclusion of people affected by mental health issues in the life and work of our congregations and in the society at large. You can learn more about the network in the worship portal at firstuunash.org, where you will also find the link to our online donation form. As always, your gifts, like your presence among us, are received with gratitude. That was just beautiful, Holly. We're so, so fortunate to have your contributions to worship. Now, let us all breathe deeply together and join in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of the life and love that flows in and around, through and among us individually and together. You are a spirit of great blessings, and also you come with the challenges that shift around us always. Among all the abundance of our lives, we find ourselves presented often with challenges. Many of those challenges are ancient. They're the challenges our ancestors have left for us to struggle through. Some of the challenges are new. And today's challenges are not last month's challenges. Tomorrow's challenges won't be the same as today's. What goes with us always through all of these challenges, what accompanies us as we enjoy the abundance of our company with each other and the good things in our lives, is the spirit of love, the spirit of life, the comfort in knowing each other and gathering together. May these good gifts fortify us to do the work of meeting the challenges that are ours to meet. May it be so. May we be the people who move through these challenges to find new life and new love. Blessed be, and amen.
Our reading this morning is The Hallowing of the Silence by Mark Bellatini. The lights are coming. I know it. In the dark silence of coming night, they are coming, those constellations by which the wise may safely steer. I know I will lose myself in that beautiful silence and its unimaginable light, as I have for a moment lost myself in this prayer. See, for the length of this sentence at least, I forget my sorrow. For the length of this sentence at least, I yield all my fears and loneliness. The silent night is coming. With bright lights I still cannot see, for it is day yet. Even in this bed, I have not lost the power to be amazed by the glory of the day. But as there is more delight, I hear more awe, more sheer amazement under the dome of night's heaven than in the glaring, blinding, too busy day. So let it also be for my own personal night of the soul, that it shall one day yield more guiding stars than the garish day has ever given, or even has power to reveal. Let the majesty of those stars melt me in the crucible of awe that lifts me up from myself. Pour me out like liquid silver into a vessel most shaped like hope, that I too might reflect all this light that shines in the night and guides others on their way. One day soon, perhaps, I too will become a star that leads others in beauty and peace. And now, for a time, I yield my fears, my sorrows, and my daydreams to the night, silent and bright, peaceful. Yes, peaceful like the sound of crickets in a wheat field bronzed by the moon, where I might dream I recline on a quilt under the summer stars at midnight, drinking in the sweetness of it, all with a joy I never imagined possible. The night is coming, but the beauty of the stars shall amend my fretting and restore me to the self that is deeper than my days. Here ends the reading.
We all know what it feels like to be stuck between a rock and a hard place, don't we? A place of impasse, a predicament with no obvious means of escape, a situation where moving either backward or forward is fraught with danger or hardship. These places of stuckness can engender feelings of depression, despair, and hopelessness, and can throw a person into a state of spiritual crisis, a dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul, as described by the 16th century mystic poet, Saint John of the Cross, is a period of utter spiritual desolation, emptiness, and disconnection from the divine. Sounds like the opposite of transcendence, doesn't it? But hang with me, we'll get there. Also known as religious impasse, a dark night of the soul ensues when a person's religious faith doesn't hold up under the weight of lived experience, when it isn't sufficient for navigating life's stormy seas. Put another way, when your religious faith no longer sustains you at those times when life is hard, you have come to a place of religious impasse. The phrase between a rock and a hard place comes from Greek mythology, as told in Homer's Odyssey, the epic tale of the journey taken by Odysseus. At one point in the journey, Odysseus must sail his ship between the narrow cliffs of the Straits of Messina with terrible mythical creatures on either side. On one side is a horrid, man-eating, cliff-dwelling creature. On the other side is a treacherous whirlpool, a rock and a hard place. Either way means inevitable loss, a place of impasse. What does one do when they have come to a place of religious impasse? According to Sister Rosemary Kenichi, who was my professor of pastoral theology, the way to transcend a religious impasse is to become a theologian. This means letting go of what one thought were the answers to the big questions of life. Where do we come from? What happens to us when we die? What does it mean to be human? To what or to whom do I orient my life? Why is there suffering and evil in the world? Who or what is God? Or is there even such a thing as God? What is the purpose of life? How do I know? In religious impasse, the old answers no longer fit our current life circumstance. It's time like this when we would be wise to heed the advice of the poet Rilke, who said, "Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked rooms and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. The point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer." Most often, it is an extremely difficult and painful period in one's life that brings about religious impasse. The death of a loved one, the breakup of a relationship, a life-threatening or life-changing diagnosis, the loss of a job. It can also be brought about by the impact of events in the larger world, or even when new findings of science challenge our assumptions about how the world works. And I would add global pandemic to the list of what can bring about religious impasse. One thing that I have noticed in my years of ministry is that when people make their way to a Unitarian Universalist congregation for the first time, they are often in a state of religious impasse, their own dark night of the soul. Christopher Reeve found Unitarian Universalism as he faced unthinkable tragedy and unfathomable despair. He found a place among us where he could work out a theology that made sense given his radically changed life, a theology that would sustain him in living his life, his new life, in meaningful ways. Paradoxically, a dark night of the soul can be a transcendent experience. We tend to think of transcendence in terms of height and uplift, of being lifted from our daily existence into something larger than ourselves. I hold out to you that transcendence can be found not just on the mountaintop, but in the valley, not just in the heights, but in the depths. The journey is inward, navigating by the lights of our own truth and our own experience, being guided by sources of wisdom handed down to us from ancestors of the past, as well as new insights that emerge as we learn more about our world and universe. Building a theology that will sustain us through all that is our life. It's as the English writer D.H. Lawrence once noted, a person has no religion who has not slowly and painfully gathered one together, adding to it, shaping it. And one's religion is never complete and final, it seems, but must always be undergoing modification. Or as many theologians throughout the ages have discovered, all theology is autobiography. The deep, dark valley is a fertile place. The stars are only visible in the darkness of night. It is in the hard places that the ego is able to let go, to relinquish its need for certainty and answers. Living into the unknown, it is possible to transcend outworn answers to the timeless questions and to emerge with new awareness and new insight. Though the inward journey through the dark night is personal, we never journey alone. No matter what brought you here to Unitarian Universalism, no matter how long you have been here, life is such that each of us will inevitably find ourselves between a rock and a hard place. When that happens, here there are companions for the journey, a community of seekers living into the questions. Together, we do the work of building a theology that will sustain and hold us through all the heights and the depths. Or as the words of the Zulu song, Tula Klizeo translate, be still my heart. Even here, I am at home. May it be so, and may we make it so through our living.
Thank you, Reverend Diane. Our closing song, Tula Klizeo, was written by Black South African singer, songwriter, and activist Joseph Shabalala, one of the founding members of the group Ladysmith Black Mambazo. When he was visiting New York City in the late 1980s to work with Paul Simon, he became acutely aware that the racist politics in his homeland might prevent him from ever returning home. This chant in Zulu came to him as he rode in a taxi, and the lyrics mean, "Be still, my heart. Even here, I am home." I hope you will join in the singing and the movement that goes along with it. Tulaklizio na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya. Hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya. Tulaklizio na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya, tulaklizio na la pasekaya. Hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya, hey kaya na la pasekaya.
The words to our chalice extinguishing were written by Elizabeth Sell. Sorry, I've forgotten her name. Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we journey forth from this sacred space and time that we make together, may peace surround you as you go. May love light every step. May the spirit of this community abide within your soul. This service has ended. May our service to the world continue. Go in peace, go in love.